We've been talking about creating satisfied customers, and we discussed the customer satisfaction pyramid. The base of that pyramid is, of course, creating an exceptional service experience. In the next DVD, we'll talk about some of the more specific points about creating that exceptional service experience. But what I want to talk about here in this DVD is customer expectations. I hear a lot in this industry that customer expectations are getting higher and higher every year, and somebody invariably tells me that they're unreasonable. Well, let's talk about what customers do expect. And I would suggest to you that what they do expect is just as important as what they don't expect. But what do your customers expect when they walk through the door? They expect value for their money, certainly, because money's the thing that comes to everybody's mind, I think. But I think more importantly than that, they expect to be listened to. They expect to have their concerns addressed. And they expect the vehicle to be fixed right the first time. Your job as a shop manager or shop owner is to help your employees, your associates, manage those customer expectations. Now, I ask the groups that we do training with, what do you think the number one reason customers hate coming to us? There's a news flash, huh? Customers hate having their cars serviced. What do you think's the number one reason why they strongly dislike having their cars serviced? The number one answer I get is because of money, because we're going to separate them from money. Really, in reality, the number one reason is it's a significant inconvenience in their life. Think about this. Do you have kids? Do you know somebody that has kids? I've got 3 kids at home. The 2 boys had to be at school this morning. The little one had to be at daycare. My wife had to be at work. And I was here filming this. Where does having my vehicle worked on fit into all of that? Well, I'm not the exception, and I'm guessing that you're not the exception either. You see, we go to work every day in a regular environment that is regular to us. It's normal to us. We can show up, we can have a repair order written on our vehicle, we can have whatever performed on our vehicle we need to on most days. Customers don't have that luxury. Customers have to rearrange their schedule just to get their vehicle to you. That's the number one reason they dislike coming to us for service. Now, when they do show up, and you've got to create that exceptional service experience, think about what they expect. They expect to be listened to. In my time as a technical specialist for a major automotive manufacturer, part of my job was representing this manufacturer in lemon law. And what I learned over 15 years of doing this work was that 90% of the customers we went to court with felt they hadn't been listened to. And they would literally sit there and they'd say to me, I never would have filed this paperwork if somebody had just listened to me. Remember that. That's an important lesson. Most customers either weren't or felt they weren't being listened to. We'll talk more about that in the next DVD. Customers expect good value for their money. In short, we all expect to get what we pay for, right? So they expect value for their money. And that goes along with fixed right first time. Now, what they don't expect is just as important as what they do expect. What do you suppose they don't expect? Well, let me tell you a quick story. I take my vehicle in for an oil change one day. I drive a half an hour to the shop. I wait an hour and a half for whatever reason. I drive a half an hour home. I open up the back door and I discover mud on the headliner, the rear seat, and the rear carpet. I didn't expect that. Do you think I've gone back? No. Do you think I even called? No, I didn't. What I didn't expect was just as important as what I did expect. Customers don't expect to return to the shop more than once for repair work. They don't expect radios messed with, fingerprints on the dash, seats moved. And they don't expect to not receive value for their money. Think about it like this. Maybe you've bought a TV recently. Maybe you bought a DVD recently. Maybe you bought a fancy dinner recently. And you spent, let's just say for argument's sake, $400 on whatever this product was. Whether you ate it, whether you watched it, whether you listened to it, you knew what you got for your money, didn't you? Now take the same $400 and put it in your car. Buy a couple of new tires with it. Buy an alignment and a tune-up with it. And driving home, what does the customer notice? Not a whole lot. You see, their perception is that they gave you a whole pile of money and they may or may not have felt like they ever got anything for it. Keep their expectations in mind. At least ensure that they feel listened to. Ensure that they receive value and perceive value for their money. Ensure that you fix their vehicle right the first time. And don't give them what they don't expect. And you'll be all set. You'll be well on your way to creating that exceptional service experience, the base of that pyramid. More to follow.